Good morning. Our first hymn this morning is called Circle Round for Freedom. And here's how it goes. There's going to be a melody. We're all going to sing it together at first. And if you want to keep singing that melody, then keep singing that melody. Then we're going to sing some harmony parts. If you want to try those out too, just go for it. A good rule for singing harmony is you sing a note. And if it sounds good, keep singing that note. Once it starts to sound bad, sing a one up or down. It's fine. Please rise in body or in spirit. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
I'm Barbara Begner, Senior Lay Minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, where we are transforming lives through courageous action and soulful connection. This is a house of worship which all are welcome, and that means you specifically. If you are young, old, in between, or simply timeless, you are welcome here. If you are gay, straight, queer, or questioning, you are welcome here. If you are feeling lonely or isolated today, know that here, whenever you need them, there are loving arms ready to surround you. If you are feeling afraid, here, there are brave hearts beating beside yours. If out in the world all you seem to encounter are fists clenched in anger, know that here, palms are open and hands are clasped in love. Worship today is led by the UUCA lay ministers, and this is the covenant we, as members of this congregation, make with one another. To remember that we need not think alike to love alike. To be mindful of how we communicate with and about others. To seek a peaceful and constructive resolution when conflicts arise. To celebrate the diversity within our community, to build the common good. Our chalice is lit this morning by Janet Fulton, and let us say the chalice lighting words together. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
Good morning. What we'll build? Plans for our together future. What shall we build? You and I. Let's gather all our tools for a start. For putting together and taking apart. Let's build a door where there was none. Let's build a house to be our home. I'll build your future, and you'll build mine. We'll build a watch to keep our time. We'll build some love to set aside, and build a hole where we can hide. A fortress to keep our enemies out, and higher walls for when they shout. But you don't always lose, and you don't always win. So we'll build a gate to let them in. We'll build a table to drink our tea and say, I'm sorry, me too, me three. We'll build a tower to watch the sky and other worlds that pass us by. Let's build a tunnel to anywhere. Let's build a road to the moon. Let's build a comfy place to rest, for we'll be tired soon. Let's build a boat that can't be broken, that will not sink or be cracked open. A place to stay when all is lost, to keep the things we love the most. We'll put these favorite things beside the earlier love we set aside. I think that we may want them later, when times are hard and needs are greater. But first things first, let's build a fire, for we planned a lot and now we are tired. It'll keep us warm, like when we're born. Then we'll say good night, as all's all right. These are the things we'll build, you and I. Time to wake up. Now I would like to invite my fellow lay ministers to the chancel to lead us in this morning's movement prayer. Please rise in body or spirit and join us. I like this group. First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present. At this time, we would like to invite our children, 5th grade and under, to exit and join preschool or their creative workshop for the morning. Please note, these are just down the hall on the 1st floor. So that's for 5th grade and under. As our children recess, please take this opportunity to greet your neighbor.
Rehearse this. I know, I'm excited too. They arrived at 9:45. We rehearsed for 45 minutes, and here it is, and they sound awesome.
I did not understand at first that ours is a covenantal rather than a creedal faith. I focused only on the freedom from creed. It was difficult, however, to describe Unitarian Universalism to others. There's no creed, I would begin. I described my faith by what it was not, unsure how to explain what held us together. I was excited to learn that our covenantal tradition began as early as 1630, when English Puritans settled in New England. About 30 families from various parts of England settled in Dedham, Massachusetts, and began to meet together for loving discourse to prepare themselves to enter into a worship community. In the wilderness together, they met for months before beginning their church to create a covenant, a sacred promise from the heart of how they would be with each other. They asserted their freedom to worship without interference from any higher authority, but with a keen awareness that their very survival depended upon their relationship to each other and with God. While many UU covenants no longer focus on the Judeo-Christian tradition or even the divine, they continue to offer an aspirational agreement of how to be, as a congregation, together. While we are no longer facing imprisonment for our beliefs or unknown dangers in a new world, our need to learn how to love one another is more critical than ever before. It is not always easy to not think alike, yet still love alike. The covenant I am most intimately familiar with is that of marriage. My wife and I have considered ourselves wed for over 31 years, despite the fact that at first we felt the need to conceal our love and continue to be at risk of various kinds of legal discrimination. In some ways, we have felt ourselves to be in a hostile wilderness, but the biggest threat to our union has been the simple neglect of our covenant. I suspect we are not the only parents who became distracted from the cultivation of our marriage by travel team baseball, tutoring appointments, bills, chores, and in our busyness, we were careless with each other and accumulated small scars. You might call them passive aggressions or microaggressions. We were too well intended to be overtly unkind. Instead, we simply drifted away from our covenant, away from the pain, courage, and vulnerability that love requires, and therefore away from each other. The day our right to marry was granted by the Supreme Court, I was furious instead of joyful. I watched others rush to the courthouse and was grateful for UUCA's immediate embrace of this new reality. Yet I resented the government's intrusion into my life and its ability to withhold or grant something so sacred and personal. And in rejecting the right of anyone to define my marriage, in demanding my freedom to make this commitment, I was struck by the awareness of my own responsibility. Beginning couples counseling was terrifying. I didn't want to admit my need to be seen and loved, or acknowledge my petty thoughts or selfish behaviors. I didn't want to hurt my beloved with my honesty. And I really didn't want to compromise much either. It was hard. It was wonderful. Fortunately, our long-harbored, hidden resentments were superficial, and our love was deep. Yes, there were tears, and it was hard to let go of habits, but we began to have big belly laughs again and saw with fresh eyes how perfect we were for each other. It felt like we were falling in love again after only a few sessions, but we stayed for a year. Remembering our love was the easy part. Learning how to come back again and again and then again after breaking covenant was harder to catch on to. But the practice is so worth it. Reverend Alice Blair Wesley, a UU minister and scholar, describes a covenant as being not a contract, but a promise that is often broken, a vow that is not enforced, but renewed and healed through reconciliation, restoration, and forgiveness. The struggle to affirm our covenant is important work. Freedom from creed is important too. But being in community, in a covenant, cultivating our relationship is our spiritual practice.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Let us put hands on hearts. Feel the heartbeat, connection to life. Breathe in peace. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love can heal the world. We hold in loving care this Sunday all those touched by violence in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our nation, and abroad. So many sources of anger, aggression, hatred, and discontent assail us daily. None of us are immune. So let us hold one another in loving care. You who are participating at home are invited to type into the live chat the names of people you're holding in your heart this morning. And you assembled here, please speak the names of people you're holding in your hearts out loud into this holy space. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find ways to be more loving to one another. Spirit of life, love eternal, we rest in holy gratitude. We surrender to a mystery beyond ourselves, asking for forgiveness for our mistakes, asking forgiveness for those times we've been selfish or thoughtless. Breathing in and out, we offer grace. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. We honor our earth, supporting and sustaining life. We breathe in, opening our hearts to wonder for just one moment, feeling a deep connection with all beings. Let us calm our bodies and our minds. We breathe in peace, and then we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the silence.
Good morning. A few weeks ago, I had a text exchange with a friend that went awry. Has anyone ever had one of these? I thought so. This is a friend who I met in graduate school when he had a BlackBerry and I had my beloved. Understand what I'm saying? In my relationship with my husband, we have, as part of our covenant to each other, a promise not to have serious conversations over text. We reserve those for the phone or in person. We learned early. We very rarely have emotion-laden texts these days, and when we try to, we offer each other gentle reminders of our covenant. My friend and I didn't have this in our friendship. And so in our follow-up conversation, we decided to include this in our relationship moving forward, as well as a promise to spend some time together again to renew the closeness of our past. This experience has left me feeling relieved and renewed, made me think of the work we are doing at UUCA around our covenant. This misunderstanding helped me to understand firsthand what covenantal relationships require, that they require ongoing updates as our lives and expectations change. I appreciate that we have such a living document here, and we are willing to update and review regularly to fit with our beloved community as it is in the present. I appreciate that we can use this covenant to help us resolve conflicts that happen among us, just like my friend and I were able to do a few weeks ago. Today's offering is a way for us to show our support for the ongoing work that we do to maintain the covenant that we have with each other here at UUCA. And that offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Every heart was As we've heard today, covenants are about relationships. The relationships fostered here at UUCA are special, and we are all living proof of this. We aren't in covenant with one another because we have to be, but rather because we choose to be, and that choice is significant. In the spirit of covenant, we bless this community and its generosity. Please join me in the dedication of the offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
When I think of what it is to be in covenant, I can also easily think of those times in my life when I have been in situations where there wasn't the kind of work done to create that relationship. When I was in second grade, in a classroom in an elementary school right down the street from this UUCA campus, I found myself in a situation so badly out of covenant as to be abusive, and in a very lasting way. I recently found out that this harm likely affected untold numbers of children over many years. A friend and I were chatting about a comment she made on her Facebook page, and she shared with me the hurt done to her and other students in a classroom that involved the same teacher, but years apart from me. I was stunned. As an adult, I have spent a lot of time thinking about that teacher and my experience. I have recognized, of course, that she had no business being in that role with that power over children, and that she was likely deeply wounded herself to have behaved in the ways that she did. But what it took me longer to realize is that the lack of a caring framework in that classroom also meant that we had no idea how to be with each other as students. We were set up to harm each other because we could not see how to be with each other in ways that were respectful and caring. Now, the year before second grade, I had a completely different experience. My first grade teacher modeled such care and kindness and intention that we could easily follow that lead. When I came in with totally wet, soaking socks and shoes one morning after splashing in puddles on my way to school, she not only took mine off to dry, but she also gave me hers so that my feet would not be cold, and she went barefoot until mine had dried. She was that loving person. Yes, she was the teacher in the classroom, and yes, the adult in charge, but my memory is that she felt like a participant with us in that space, someone who could guide us, but also be in community with us inside a framework of compassion and mutual respect. The lasting impression from that particular classroom experience has also stayed with me, and I am ever grateful for that. It certainly helped me get through the awful year to follow, but it also cast a particular light on the dysfunction of the next classroom. I have reflected on the power of modeling both good and bad behavior, particularly by someone in a leadership role, but I have also thought about how the lack of understanding of how to be with each other leads to poor outcomes and sometimes great harm. While those public school classrooms of my childhood were unlikely to ever consider the idea of a covenant, I realized I could have that opportunity to do that work in future with others, both in classrooms and other environments. I could ask, with intention, how can we work to be in supportive relationship with each other? In my work with children and youth of all ages in this denomination, at UUCA, other congregations, and at our UU camps and conferences, I have participated in building covenants again and again so that we can identify what our needs are together and how we can work to make sure that we can be in right relationship to meet those needs as we do whatever comes next. It is the first work in the classroom, always. How do we take care of each other here is a powerful question. What promises do we make to do that? As UUs, we do that significant work with each other as adults in relationship too. The thing to know about a covenant is that it is a living agreement and not a stagnant one. It is something that has to be revisited, and we will often find ourselves needing to be reminded about the work we have done together. It can be easier to find the concepts that come to us as we create a covenant, and much more of a challenge to live by them. I am often tempted to think that a covenant is the glue that can hold us together, but it is not like that, rigid and stuck. Instead, I believe a covenant is that which holds us. A covenant holds us up and holds us in care. It is the container that holds our values and how we will live by them. Here at UUCA, we have a congregational covenant, as we shared earlier in the service. The individual groups and classes that gather within our community create covenants as well. Our covenants are the containers of the important work of our lives in community, and we painstakingly and lovingly create them together. When you are here, may you feel that you are held and holding others in a shared promise of care. It is up to all of us to do this important work. Indeed, this is how we build the beloved community. May it be so.
At UUCA, we have one of the most robust lay ministry programs in any congregation anywhere. I don't know if you know that about nationally, we have one of the most robust programs. But I also want to say that it is one of the most excellent things about our congregation. We are so deeply lucky to have these leaders among us who help us learn to be in better relationship with each other. Will you just join me in thanking our amazing lay ministers for all that they do in this church. We're so grateful for you. Deeply, deeply meaningful. But not Steph. We're going to sing things to Steph. Our final hymn this morning is Our World is One World.
As we prepare to go forth today, may we embrace the gifts of the covenants that we hold as we rekindle the spirit and remember the purpose of entering into them. May our commitments, intentional commitments to one another, be a source of strength to each and every one of us. And may our will to lift each other up if we fall or lose our way, be a source of comfort to us. Only when we are joined together and mindfully working towards the commitments that we hold are we able to build the world we wish for. Go forth in promise and in peace.
Fantastic.